Hello everyone. So we are going to today learn the first chapter of class 11 biology, the living world. So there are wide range of living types that we have in the world around us. If we look to the living organisms in the cold mountains or deciduous forests, oceans, fresh lakes, wherever we say valleys, so we have got different species or different organisms or different living organisms that we find all around. And along with that, we have other materials too, which are rocks, okay, maybe the soil, so all those things are there. Okay, now among all the things that we get in the surroundings, what is living? So how can we define any organism to be living? Okay, so when we say living, then there are some distinct features that is available for us to say that this particular thing is a living organism. So what are they? First and foremost, we know that all living beings will grow. So there is growth for all living beings. So what is growth? Growth is, it can be growth by when I say the number might grow, so there is cell divisions that is occurring, so there is a growth there taking place. Then there might be a physical growth that is taking place. You are growing tall or you are growing, so that is also a growth that is happening. There's a physical growth also which is taking place, that is growth of the body mass, that is also a growth. Now we have got mountains, boulders, they also grow. So we do not say they are defined properties of living beings. So when I tell about the properties of living beings, one is defined, which is very specific to living beings, and one is non-defined or undefined, you can say. So under undefined, we saw growth is undefined. Okay, next we have got reproduction. So reproduction is giving birth to young ones. Reproduction is giving birth to young ones. So all the living organisms, they have the possibility or they have the ability to reproduce, whether it is asexually or sexually. So reproduction will be defined. So what is happening? We have no other things like rocks, boulders, they cannot reproduce. So that is again a very defined characteristics of living organisms. Okay, next the few they will divide even by cell divisions. Few will divide by budding as in yeast. Then we have fragmentation as in planaria, that is a flatworms. So amoeba also there is, when we see amoeba, so their reproduction is synonymous with growth. The growth and reproduction is the same, so they are increasing in the number, or say they are going on with cell division. Okay, so another characteristics is metabolism. So what is metabolism? Metabolism is nothing but that is the formation of some chemicals. So breaking down of chemicals that is taking place in the body, that is metabolism. So there is a conversions which are chemical reactions or metabolic reactions. Okay, so now all plants, animals, fungi and microbes will exhibit this metabolism. Now metabolic reactions, it can be in free environment, which we say as experiment. So they are not metabolic, they are metabolic reactions which takes place inside the body, and if it is taking outside the body, they are experiments. Okay, next we have cellular organization. What is cellular organization? That is giving the body a definite feature of life form. So how the cells, they organize themselves to form tissues, then from tissues they form organ to organ system, and then organism. So there is a proper cellular organization that is there. Okay, photoperiods, they will affect reproduction in seasonal breathers, both plants and animals. So we have got a proper organization that is taking place. Even they respond to stimuli. Okay, there are some factors that plants or animals respond to. They respond to stimuli. Then there is this is very, very conscious. They are very conscious, and they have a defining property. Okay, when it comes to human beings, it is all the more difficult to define the living state. We observe patients lying in coma in hospital, virtually supported by machines which replace hearts and lungs. Okay, so again it is quite difficult, but yes. Okay, now next thing is what we will come to is the diversity in living world. So there are many types of organisms that we see. If we see around us, there are various types of organisms. So the various types of organisms which are around us, that is referred to as biodiversity. That is referred to as biodiversity. Okay. So as there are so many organisms, they are identified by a particular name. So the way of naming these organisms, this is known as nomenclature. So what is the use of this nomenclature? So one is identification and one is classification. So to classify any new organisms and identify it, we have this form of nomenclature. So now we have ICBN, which is International Code of Botanical Nomenclature for plants we have, and we have ICZN, which is the code for the zoological nomenclature. So each name, they will have two parts. One is the generic name and one is the specific epithet. One is the generic name and one is the specific epithet. So this naming, this is known as binomial nomenclature, and this was given by Carolus Linnaeus. So if for human beings, what is it? Homo sapiens. So when we say Homo sapiens, so you see the first part of it is the generic name. This is the generic name and this is the specific epithet. Okay, so this is a specific epithet or specific part that we are talking about. Okay, now whenever we write them, how do we represent the binomial nomenclature? So when I wrote Homo sapiens, usually all these binomial nomenclatures, they come down from the Latin. So they are usually written in italics. See, if we have this Magnifera Indica, it is written in the italics. So when we type it down, it is in the italics. But when it is written in hand, we will underline it separately. So I again write Magnifera. So you see M is capital, Indica. So what I will do, Magnifera I will underline separately and Indica I will underline separately. So this is how I say that this is a scientific name. Okay. So the first word of the genus is in capital and specific epithet, it is the small letter. Alright. Fine. So now I was talking about that when we name the organism, we can as well classify them. Now what is classification? So putting them in a specific group depending on the features or the observable characteristics that they are. So what would happen if I say about this Magnifera indica, which is mango, and if we talk about Homo sapiens, which is humans, they can't be put under the same category, because this will be coming under animal kingdom, this is a plant kingdom. So we have to classify them into different categories depending on the features that there is. So that is why classification is there. So all the organisms are grouped into a specific group, and the scientific term which is given to this categories is known as taxa. The scientific term is taxa, and the process of classification is taxonomy. The process of classification is taxonomy. Whatever is the word given specifically, that is taxa. Okay, now the study. Okay, so now the branch of study with all this different kind of organisms and their diversity, it is nothing but systematics. So that is systematics. Okay, so that's it. So in the next class we will be talking about taxonomic categories and further on. Thank you.